Well, this boggy bit of marsh is usually quite wet with teal, redshank. There's water vole here. You can see the bog bean is high and dry, and most of the water's drained away to leave a sort of soggy peat. Great little habitat, but just shows you how dry this past couple of months have been. Very dry. So no matter how much re-wetting you do, if it's going to be dry weather, hot dry weather, you're re-wetting for the purposes of rewilding. It's just not going to work. Well, all the lapwings have gone, curlews have gone, redshanks have gone, snipe have gone. It's quite silent. The only thing moving are hundreds of meadow pipits that have come off the hill. Well, you can see some old muir burn here, heather burning. The first thing that comes through is the bracken. The bracken cover takes over. And young wheat here. I think the adults have gone, leaving the young ones to find their own way back to Africa. What a long journey for a wee bird. Right, well, spotted a family of kestrel, a couple of young red kites flying around. Very few red grouse. Heard a couple calling. Some curlew remaining. I think probably young ones, and some sort of passing through. We've in Scotland we've just had a huge wildfire up in Cairngorm. It lasted about 2 weeks. Fortunately it's out now. It seems most of Europe's on flames. Spain, France, parts of the UK, and a lot of people putting it down to climate change. At the moment the glens of Angus are kind of dry. The burns are low, easy to cross. Climate change. Well, whether you believe in it or not, everybody seems very keen to title things, the cause for problems, as being climate change. And one of those things recently that I've heard a lot about is the dotterel, the fool of the hills. Now, in the southern Cairngorms, used to find them quite often. The last time I saw them was 2016 in May, when they arrive in Britain. And sometimes they form wee trips, stop on the high ground and have wee leks. Some of them stay here, some of them move on to Norway, Scandinavian countries. So birdguides.com had a big sort of story about, will the dotterel be the first British breeding bird to face extinction due to climate change? Without any justification, without any actual knowledge that change is happening on high breeding grounds. I don't think it is, actually. I think the food supply is okay. There's adequate breeding areas. The Rachymetrium moss. Nothing has really changed high up. What has changed is the amount of people who are hill walking, doing Monroe bagging. Hundreds take to the hill every week to bag Monroes, and guess what? Most of the high Monroes above 3,000 feet are exactly where dotterel do breed, on big rounded plateaus. I can certainly recall one hill in southern Cairngorms where I used to find dotterel all the time. The path leading to the top of that hill, well, it wasn't a path. There was no path. And now there's a huge track because it's now designated a Monroe, and everybody wants to go up it, disturbing any nesting bird there. And of course, hill walkers do tend to take their dogs with them. So that's one reason, the one definite reason that dotterels are being disturbed, even though they're fairly resilient to people walking by. And that's why they got the name the Fool of the Hills, because they wouldn't fly away if you walked past them. Very tame. I suppose that's one of the problems. The other reason is illegal trapping in the Mediterranean area, especially an island like Gozo, where trappers use decoy calls, calling equipment and huge nets to trap them on the migration route to and from the UK and Scandinavia. It's a big business. They keep them in wickerwork cages, baskets, and they sell them for eating. And when you see pictures of these beautiful dotterel in wee wickerwork cages, sitting completely innocently at the hands of these mafia-style trappers, and the police in the Mediterranean area, okay, they do some collaboration work with the campaign against bird slaughter, an organisation which I fully approve of, and do much more than any other organisation to help illegal persecution of birds. Now, it seems strange that these are obvious things. Disturbance due to hill walking, a massive invasion of people up in the hills, and no decrease in the amount of trapping going on in the Mediterranean islands. But these things seem to be ignored. Whether purposefully ignored, I'm not very sure about that. You'd think folk who are experts on the dotterel and claim that climate change has caused a decrease in the dotterel would know about all these other things, but seemingly they don't. They just seem to latch on to the idea of climate change because they can make money out of it. They declare they can do surveys, re-wet, re-wild, and it's, as I say, follow the money. And the only reason that they claim it's climate change is because at the moment this net zero ambition, false ambition, the government's only willing to give out money to researchers. That's crazy, absolutely crazy. Makes no sense to me. Well, bracken's up to my thighs. I don't like bracken, but just have to put up with it to get places. The ling's out, bell heather's out, the honeybees are out. When you think about it, going back to the subject of re-wetting, rewilding and wildfires, how do you actually re-wet an area like this? A steep slope with scree, bracken, no water. How do you re-wet? How do you stop it from holding a wildfire? Now over there, we can see the gamekeepers have been out burning all the grassy area. You can see the heather tide mark up there where the burning is stopped. And I suppose if there was a wildfire here, because of the sort of lattice work of burning that's already taking place, it stands a fair chance of stopping a major wildfire, or sort of slowing it down. Some of the areas that I've seen, Glenmore, heading into the Cairngorms up Glenderry, the heather is absolutely rank. It's about, you say that's rank heather over there, but in Glenderry it's twice that height. It's just a fire waiting to happen, honestly. And it's continuous for miles and miles and miles, as could be seen in the Abernethy RSPB Reserve fire. No fire breaks, no consideration for the management of the land apart from the money source of re-wetting. I'm beginning to hate that title, re-wetting. Sounds like some sort of nappy treatment. Anyway, no, things are not that simple. Not that simple. Definitely not. The way it's worked in the past is rotational burning, small burns, and it does keep there's risk of wildfire to a minimum, possibly. Scanning around here for my golden eagle. Haven't seen it for a long time. There's a satellite tagged male that's holding territory here, and it's disappeared. I think it went over into another estate and was reported to be breeding, but I don't know. There's not many grouse here, so not much food for any bird of prey. There are poles, carbon fibre poles down for heli from my sunbed. I hope I don't use them, they're very lightweight. Absolutely love this bit because the whole burn is squeezed through this tiny channel. And a lovely pool to dip in. Wow. area of moor burn. That was pretty severe moor burn here, and left very little on a steep slope, exposing the peat, which is in this sort of weather dries out, forming these very crusty layers. I suppose when the canopy is burnt, there's no protection, no moisture trapping with the heather canopy, and allows this cracking to happen. No doubt this will sponge up when there's some decent rain, but until there's another canopy, grassy canopy or a sphagnum moss canopy to protect the peat, this is still quite exposed. There's a bit of a difference between exposed peat, which is no sphagnum cover, a sort of bed of sphagnum which does burn during moor burn, but tends to create a sort of a protective cushion against the peat drying out too much, and there's no cracking under there. It just prevents moisture loss. Okay, in the midst of moor burn patch, a rather large patch, we have rewilding birch, juncus and carex coming in. No sign of heather yet, but there we go. A nice wee birch tree. How long it'll last, who knows. Certainly down the glen, where they've fenced off certain areas, and because of decrease in the rabbit population, and they've kept some of the deer out, huge areas have, within a few years, have returned to birch cover, natural birch woodland. It's probably the first thing that comes in when nibblers are excluded, and it happens very, very quickly. No need to spend money, no need to replant things. Birch trees will just pop up anywhere. Utterly amazing. A wee bit of pioneering ling heather coming back. So the root system is undisturbed, and eventually there will be redistribution of pioneering ling and possibly bell heather across leaved heath. It's a bit of a devastation at the moment, this whole slope. Here we've got patches of crossleaf heath coming in before ling or bell heather. And some tormental. And quite a few grasshoppers about, short-horned grasshopper. I think one of the main reasons for such an extensive burn in this area is because there's quite a bit of heather beetle. Came across quite a few patches a couple of years ago. Heather beetle just destroys heather completely. The larvae eat young shoots. So this is the last resource, is to burn it where it comes up, where heather beetle comes up. And the estates have been really busy trying to eradicate some of the problem areas. Unfortunately, Nature Scott has brought in new rules and regulations where estates will have to apply for a license to burn any area of heather, which just seems to be a license to create wildfires. Fewer and fewer licenses will be given out, and more moorland will turn to rank heather, which has the risk of wildfire. Emperor moth larvae. And the wee pink spots on its back match precisely ling flowers. Good camouflage. Heading somewhere. I don't know where, but it's got a long way to go. Well, just seen a golden eagle and got some down here. Oh, we'll stop for a wee preen. Well, just seen my eagle disappear over the horizon. A big, long, slow stoop. Never flapped a wing at all. Walked a fair distance today, about 7 or 8 miles. Grouse moor. I didn't see a grouse. I think I heard one, but I haven't flushed any grouse. I haven't seen any poults, nothing. Some feathers, evidence of grouse, but you know, you've got miles and miles of heather moorland, and in this instance there's no grouse. I don't know if it's the same all over the country or not, but doesn't look too good. problem with sketching in Scotland on moorland is you've got about 10 minutes to do a sketch. The first 5 minutes takes midges to find you, and you've got another 5 minutes to finish it or get something set down before the midges actually destroy you. So you've got a 10-minute sketch before certain doom from midges. You've got to be quick. And then this one I'm going to finish in the studio. They're annoying, very annoying. And another example of birch regeneration on one of the highest hills here. And oh my gosh, some white heather. Hey, nice covey of grouse.